Welcome back, everyone. Today I'm going to be shedding light on the hidden benefits appertaining to minimalism and not spending money. What are they, you may ask? Without further ado, without further delay, without further procrastination, let's delve into the nitty-gritty. Let's dabble into this. First and foremost, by embracing minimalism, by abstaining from spending money, by desisting from spending money, you create room in your life for what's important. In other words, you're not impeded, you're not going to be encumbered, you're not going to be stifled by clutter and frivolities anymore. You're going to be able to declutter your life and hone in on what matters, which may be your relationships with others, or pursuing your higher aspirations, or your hobbies, or optimizing your house. The second hidden benefit is that you'll have more freedom. You'll be able to maximize your liberation. You'll have freedom from gluttony, from greed, from debt, from obsessions, from overworking. You no longer have to be a workaholic to sustain your lifestyle. You ideally want to minimize your monthly expenses so that you're only paying for the essentials. That way you don't have to be an indentured servant in perpetuity and can actually have purview over your time rather than being a wage slave to your employer. And by doing this, you don't have to work dead-end jobs that cannot even provide you with sustenance, because you'll be able to keep your expenses so low that you could forgo working for anyone else and instead focus on creating income generating assets and building your brands so that you can hopefully have money coming in perpetuity without having the owner's burden of having to relinquish your finite, sacrosanct, indispensable, non-replenishable time for a fixed amount of fiat currency that you're preordained to get eviscerated out of. Unfortunately, there's over 13,000 taxes, so it undermines your earnings potential. And it deters people from wanting to work full-time, especially when their hard-earned money is remitted to others. But it is what it is, I suppose. The third hidden benefit appertaining to embracing minimalism is that you could focus on optimizing your house. You could embrace a raw fruitarian, alkaline, anti-cancer, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant-rich, robustly healthy diet comprised of fruits and vegetables characterized by high levels of alkalinity that bear a low glycemic load post being digested. You could also focus on your hobbies. You could focus on exercising to mitigate oxidative stress and free radical damage. You can profusely sleep to mend your vessel. Once again, this harkens back to one of the prior reasons that I provided, which is a benefit to minimalism, which is you could focus on what truly matters, what is incumbent, what is salient, what is pivotal in life. You have to determine that for yourself. But if you can have imperium, have purview, have latitude for control over your time, then you could focus on moving your life forward and not regressing. What is the trajectory of your life at this juncture, at this confluence of time and space? Is it moving forward, or are you stagnant, or are you regressing? I do not know, but it would behoove you to discharge your debts as rapidly as possible. The debtor, unfortunately, is always beholden and enslaved to the lender, and by being indebted, it prevents you from being able to make headway in your life and inroads towards what matters. The fourth hidden benefit is that you'll be less focused on material possessions. You won't need to keep up with others. You won't be envious. You won't need to buy, collect, hoard, and spend an exorbitant amount of money to retain material possessions, which lose their luster after seconds, but set you back decades financially. You don't even need as much of a spacious abode if you can let go of your desire to collect and covet. Another hidden benefit is that you'll have more peace of mind. You'll be more content with your life. You'll be able to liberate your time. You won't have the desires. You won't yearn to needlessly buy items. You'll just have the essentials You focus on creating income generating assets. You focus on optimizing your house, maximizing your sleep, and truly pursuing activities that you relish. You'll also be able to forge stronger relationships with family members, friends, and attend more meetup events. So your life will be augmented in every facet, and as you have a higher positive to negative thought ratio, as you're more optimistic, you'll be able to not only augment and enhance your life in every regard, but you will see life from a new perspective. It won't be about buying, hoarding. It will be more spiritual or multi-dimensional, spiritual, ambrosial, divine beings, and you'll be able to connect to others on a more spiritual level when it's not predicated upon your relationships being contingent upon your level of wealth, nor your accumulation of material possessions. So when your social circles are not predicated upon how much you own, you'll forge healthier relationships in your life. That was better stated than I anticipated. Another hidden benefit is that you'll be happier, you'll be more elated, gleeful, buoyant. You'll be able to maximize your happiness. You'll be able to live life to its fullest. After you declutter your life, after you paid off your debt, you'll be able to gravitate towards what matters most in life, which is not clutter, nor hoarding, nor material possessions. It's your relationships with others. It's your higher aspirations. And it's finding agency, purpose, and living to your utmost highest potential, and not regressing, and not slumping, and not plunging into the abyss. Another hidden benefit is that you'll have less fear of failure. What does this entail? Well, if you have next to nothing, you have next to nothing to lose, and you'll be able to afford to take more business risks. You'll be able to fund a marketing budget if needed, because you won't be making these exorbitant mortgage payments. Maybe you'll live in a manufactured home, which is 1/5 of the cost or less of a traditional home, and it's just as spacious, and it has just as much structural integrity as a stick-built home, as long as the manufactured home was assembled after 1976. So, if you have an infinitesimal amount of worldly possessions, you have little to nothing to lose, and because of that, you do not have this scarcity mentality, but you wind up cultivating an abundance mentality. You lose your fear of failure. And the last benefit is that you have more confidence. You'll be able to embrace individuality and self-reliance, and this confidence will emanate out of you. It will improve and refine and enhance and embellish your character. It will attract others to you, and you're more than likely to become more influential, more persuasive, more attractive. And you could focus on being an autodidact. If you're an employee, you have no purview over your life. You can't control when you eat, when you sleep, when you go to the bathroom. And now you'll be able to control when you eat, when you sleep, when you can go to the bathroom, when you can learn. And you'll be able to focus on creating income generating assets. And by having money, by discharging your debts, you'll be able to buy income generating assets. So not only will you be creating these income generating assets, but you'll also be procuring them as well to be able to compound your wealth, rather than being indebted and having the interest on the debt accruing the principal each and every day and further undermine your negative net worth. So you ideally want a positive net worth. You don't want to be submerged in debt, and you want to be able to embrace minimalism and not spending money, so that you can circumvent these problems. And if you have your own manufactured home, you could have raised garden beds and subsequently plant your own crops. Many vegetables can be cultivated in 1 to 3 months, so it would behoove you to make changes in your life as soon as possible, so that you could no longer be an exploitable wage slave to your employer, and so that you could buy your freedom, or partial freedom, whatever that's supposed to entail for you. Unfortunately, expenses will always be reoccurring, but if you do everything in your purview to minimize them, and if you create as many income generating assets as possible, hopefully in the coming decades you can have an easier, less stressful life. And by having a less strenuous, less laborious job, by working for yourself, you'll be able to have more purview over your time. Of course, the sacrifices needed to be able to buy the maximum amount of freedom you can may be hefty up front. You may have to create over 100,000 hours of content, but in the long haul it should pay off so that you can retire from much earlier age, and so that you can be self-employed and choose when you want to work. But unfortunately, since there's no basic guaranteed income, at this juncture you will have to work. I hope that you found this video to be enthralling. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.